Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to address the topic of mobbing in the workplace. This one I've noticed has come up quite a bit lately, so today we're going to address that issue. Okay, first of all, what is mobbing? Well, this is going to sound very familiar to everyone watching this video. You're going to either have had it happen to you or you've seen it happen. I can guarantee it. Mobbing is whenever a group of people in a workplace, they team up and they say derogatory comments towards one person, they pick on one person, or on the opposite end of the spectrum, they flat out ignore them, which is also a form of exclusion, which is also a form of bullying and harassment in the workplace. So before we start addressing these problems and talking about them, let's make one thing very clear right now. That right there, what I just talked about, is all forms of workplace harassment and could be considered bullying. These are things that you can take to an HR department. However, be very cautious about this. You're going to get the opposite of the desired effect. If you go and you claim that people are excluding you and it's a form of workplace harassment, then what's going to happen is all of these people are going to have to go into that inquiry. They're going to have to answer questions, and then because of that, they're going to distance you even more now because you've put them in the line of fire. Because of one person took exception to what you said and then pulled all these other people in there, they now are guilty by association to this person, and they're going to not like you even more. Very careful with this one. Alright, so now that we know what it is, how does it start? It starts as a disagreement usually between two people. And it's usually because the other person has gotten a bruised ego. It usually has nothing to do with work-related things, but just to be safe, you have to ask yourself, in this conversation, did I do anything immoral, illegal, or unethical? Most of the time, it's not going to be the case. It's just somebody got a bruised ego. So what's going to happen next? How do they get you back? The rumor mill. They're going to start rumors about you. They're going to gossip about you. They may even confront you in front of others with their same little spiel just to see if the other people agree and if they get the backing. This one, however, they'll generally only do once they've started before mentioned rumors and gossip. This is so they get a little bit more support, and then people will tend to believe their perspective of you. Wow. Not only can I not ask for help, but doing so is going to get me in more trouble and make me look even worse. So what do I do? There's this process called weathering the storm. And how it works is this. Go to work and keep doing your job. Don't engage that toxic person, whoever that was that started this whole mess to begin with. Then what's going to happen is people are going to notice that you're not behaving in, conjunction with the rumors that are going around. Someone is going to get curious enough and they're going to ask you about it. And then you simply tell them, hey, listen, I'm just trying to do my job. I had a disagreement with that person. I don't know what their problem is. I don't have an issue with it. It must be their issue. Then, now you're going to start to slowly unravel this whole rumor mill and get yourself back in good standing. And then people are going to start questioning that other person. And eventually, that just very well may come out, and then you turn the tables on there. And that's how we get our peace that way. Also of note, this is the worst one because it involves the group mentality. And what happens here is if people are all ganging up on one person, and that's why it's called ganging up, because criminal gangs do this too. If something bad happens to that person, if they quit or if they do put in a complaint, then the more people involved on the party, they share a portion of the guilt and the blame. So the impact on each individual is less. Be very wary of that aspect. And that's why it's very important not to engage those people back on that topic and simply just let the universe take care of it. Do your job, let someone's curiosity get the better of them, and then the true answers will come out. Would you rather make progress in a day, a couple of weeks, or a month? Or would you rather just stay the course and just let everything go downhill? That's your call, you decide. This next scenario is probably the worst one to find yourself in. Your boss has taken exception with you. Not only that, now he has your peers working against you as well. And your peers will follow along with this fairly easily, and this is why. We as people, we have a tendency to want to please someone who's in a higher position than us. And this is because we tend to think they have better information, they can help us out in the long run, so we want to please those people. And in this case, bosses exploit this fact, which is a big, huge no-no. But it happens all the time, and it happens everywhere. So, your boss has it in for you. Not only that, they're also recruiting an army to come after you as well. This is probably the most horrible situation most people find themselves in. This is also the one that's most detrimental to people if you read up on these stories. Is this avoidable? Maybe not. Can it be mitigated a bit? It sure can. So here's some things you should take into consideration. First thing, whenever you start at your new place, be quiet. This is where you must become almost predatory and observe your environment and the people in it. Watch the people, watch how they behave, watch how they interact with each other. Then find the people who are most like you. Where this is going to become important down the road is that if you have this altercation with your boss, then whenever they decide to go and do this, you've already at least have a small ring of people who will support you. Where this is going to become important is once the rumors start, or whatever else tactic they use, then these people can at least help you squash it, or they can at least be your safety net of a place to go and hang out in. Great, you've got some friends. Why this is very important now is because whenever your boss comes a knocking with his little army of henchmen, now you've got some support. People who will either just be there to support you, which is hugely important. Some of them might even stand up for you. Also of note is that you may very well end up in the other role where you have to support or stand up for someone. So friends are very important. Then it becomes more of a weathering the storm tactic, as I mentioned previously. Then eventually your co-workers will stop pestering you whenever they see you're just doing your work. Your boss will probably let go too whenever they see they're getting nowhere. Or they might also very well get switched out, because that happens as well. Okay, the last scenario. This one's kind of like mobbing, but sort of not really. This one's dictated by your actions. This generally falls into law enforcement type categories where you have to do something undesirable, like say use force on another person, or you have to get a little bit more assertive with someone. This is out of the range of normal human behavior. And people don't like it, people find it very uncomfortable. And the fact that you can do it, some people will find a little bit unsettling. These people will probably distance themselves from you, not realizing that when it comes to predatory people, sometimes that is the only language you can speak to get them to understand. Nonetheless, people will probably avoid you a little bit more for some time. Alright, so your actions have dictated you had to do something less than desirable in your line of work. And now, certain people are avoiding you. This one is actually a blessing in disguise. Because what's going to happen here next is this. These people are going to keep their distance from you. There's going to be other people though now that are going to gravitate towards you. And these are people who have had similar experiences that you just had. And they're going to understand what you're going through. And they're going to have more mutual respect for you. And this actually is a good thing this time around. It may take time, but it'll happen. Mobbing, or team bullying in the workplace as it's called. This is a very serious problem. This happens at almost every work site. Today, we had come up with a few scenarios. We also offered a few solutions to those scenarios to either help solve the problem or at least drastically reduce the effects it has on you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.